Hey guys, welcome back to Kaisha TV. Today I'm coming to you to talk to you about how I started my acting career. This is definitely a topic that I'm asked about a lot, so I figured I'd just make a video and just share how I started my acting career and where I am now. I have my notebook here, my handy dandy notebook. You guys know that reference? I have my notebook here because I want to make sure that I stay on track. So I started my acting career just after my husband and I got married on January 2nd, 2015. We won a wedding from Arena Stage in Washington, D.C. We won an $80,000 wedding. It was an amazing experience, and that is a whole separate story, so I'll have to share that story in another video. But basically, after we won that wedding, I was exposed to theater in a way that I had not been previously. I really felt connected to theater after that experience, and our wedding was at a theater, so it was a whole production, if you will. That was kind of what got me thinking about theater. I had never done theater as a kid. I was never in any full-length plays. I was always tasked with memorizing monologues and saying them in front of my church, but as a child growing up, I primarily did liturgical dance, and I have led several productions of my own under the interdenominational ministry at Mount St. Mary's University, which I founded when I was a freshman there. And basically, I did all these different productions, but again, I had never done theater. So after my husband and I got married, we fell into a little bit of a rut. We were both kind of confused about what we were to do next in life. We had achieved everything on that checklist, if you will. We had gotten our master's degrees, we purchased a home, we had good jobs, we had our cars, we had everything, and we had each other. And now it was like, okay, what do we do now? We're not ready to be parents. Like, what do we do? And so we had just joined a church named Judah Temple Amy Zion Church, and when we joined that church, they were participating in a season of consecration. This particular season of consecration is all about eliminating distractions so that you can hear the voice of God. And so during that time, I really spent a lot of time soul searching, purpose searching, and it was during this time that I found my purpose. I'm not allowed to be on social media or like looking at secular television or listening to secular radio during this time, and so I got on the internet and I Googled acting in DC. And I said, okay, well, maybe I'll find something that will lead me to something else. And I found the DC Black Theater Festival. So that festival was coming up in a couple of weeks. I believe it was March 8th, 2015, if I'm not mistaken. I remember dates, oddly enough. So that was when I went on my first audition ever. And I had no idea what I was doing. I printed out like a lifestyle photo that I had taken with a photographer, and I made up this resume, and I brought it with me. And I did this monologue I found on the internet that was called I Ate the Divorce Papers. And then I didn't know they were going to ask me for a song in the audition. So when they did, I sang a hymn, Were You There, when they crucified my Lord. I don't know what made me pull that song out of my back pocket, but that was all that was on my mind. So I sang that. And as favor would have it, I booked a lead role in this play called Battle of Wills by Cheryl Jackson, and that was my first play that I ever participated in. It was a great experience. I left out a huge part of this story. When I couldn't find work after that play, I decided to create my own show, and I created this artist release showcase called A Legacy for Our Daughters. And luckily, I sold it out to 100 people, and I had it at the recital hall at the Arc in DC, and basically I premiered a short film during that particular performance that was called Regal Not Ratchet. I'm gonna have to make a separate video, guys, because this is getting extremely long. After that play, I couldn't find work. I didn't know what to do next because there weren't any more theater festivals going on. So I'm like, okay, well, how do I perform at places like Arena Stage and the Kennedy Center? Like, how do I go there? I kind of like jumped from community theater to wanting to be all the way in professional theater. I didn't know how to make that jump. And so I found out about a few resources. And those resources were the Actors Center, Dragonuck, and McKinnon Acting Studio. The first two resources, they're both online platforms where you can find out about auditions and different casting notices for various projects. They might be theater, commercials, voiceover, modeling. It really just does depend on what's available, but you can find out about all kinds of different projects going on. Also film, if I didn't say that already, and television. So McKinnon Acting Studio was a acting studio that's based in the Maryland area. I found out about it and said, well, let me go and see if I can take a class with this coach and maybe he'll help me with my acting career. And Mark, fortunately, was very, very helpful and open to helping me get started, and he kind of taught me the ropes, and he really helps me to figure out where to go with things. Through going to the McKinnon Acting Studio and taking classes, I also started to venture out to studio theater, and I took a couple of classes there. I also went to Washington Improv Theater, took a couple of classes there. And so basically, through taking all of those classes and then just exposing myself to different things, like I started to go to more shows and go to the theater. I saw this production called Potted Potter, and then I remember going to see the Book of Mormon when it came to DC, the touring company. And I made the decision that it was time for me to just fully focus on theater. Something about theater that is just so amazing and just makes me feel alive that I knew I needed to be doing theater. Film, television, commercials, voiceover were all things that I was fortunately able to also do and expose myself to. However, I knew that deep down inside, theater was going to be the thing that I wanted to do the most. What really solidified that for sure was seeing The Color Purple on Broadway with Cynthia Erivo, Heather Headley, and Danielle Brooks. It was absolutely amazing. I will never forget how that show made me feel. I just knew when I walked out of that theater that I was like, I have to do this. Like, I need this in my life. Like, I need to be able to create this for people, and I need to always be able to have the opportunity to go and experience it for myself. It's just something about theater that is just, it's not fully explainable, and I think that's why it's great. So I started to binge watch Glee. Glee is one of my favorite shows, and I started to binge watch that. And as I got through the seasons, at some point we know that Rachel Berry, who was the lead character in the show, she goes to see Nyada. So I Googled Nyada because I wanted to see if it was real. And when I Googled that, the American Musical and Dramatic Academy came up. And when that came up, I said, well, what's that? Is that a school in New York? And so I looked it up, and sure enough, lo and behold, it was a school in New York, and they were having auditions that same weekend. Now, I looked the school up on a Thursday. The auditions were on a Sunday. So I said, oh my goodness, what do I do? I don't know. Yet again, I didn't know what to do for the audition. I called a friend who I knew had done the dance theater program there and asked for her advice. And she really pushed me to go to the audition. In fact, she told me she felt like God was telling me that I needed to go. And so I went to the audition. I did a monologue from a play that I had been in the previous year. And essentially, I sang Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid because that was the only song that I was like, well, maybe I'll sound okay singing this. So I did that, and a few weeks later they called, or they didn't call, they sent me an email and let me know that I was accepted into the musical theater conservatory program. Y'all, I was so excited. When that email came through, I will never forget. I turned on I'm Here by From The Color Purple with Cynthia Erivo singing in the car, and I was literally crying because I was like, oh my God, my dreams are coming true. Before I got to that point of attending AMDA, though, I worked for almost a year in DC doing commercials, doing film, doing theater, and also doing voiceover. I had a couple of voiceover opportunities with the U.S. Department of State. I had several theater opportunities. Some of those include doing voices, How to Be the Perfect Wing Woman, which was actually a musical in a festival. And then I also did Beneath the Surface. I did this production called Women of Plums with the DC Arts and Humanities, which was at DC's historic Lincoln Theater, which was really, really awesome. I also had some pretty cool commercial opportunities where I was playing a mom in a Doubletree by Hilton commercial, advertising their wonderful Doubletree cookies. I also was a demo hand model for Toyota RAV4, and there have been countless other things that I've been able to do, fortunately, in that 1 year. So just to give you guys a span, like to give you guys a time frame, I started March 2015 This is October 2018. From March 2015 to October 2018, I've really been able to accomplish a lot. Like I have a resume full of experience, which I'm still trying to get more and trying to get more here in the New York area, of course. But I've been able to train in musical theater and enhance my craft. I've been able to expose myself to disciplines that I didn't have experience in. Before coming to AMDA, I didn't have any formal dance training, so now I feel more confident in what I'm able to do dance-wise. And before AMDA, I was a pretty good dancer, but I just didn't have training. So now my dance skills have gotten even better. So my camera overheated, so I'm gonna wrap this video up. I'm not even sure where I left off, but I'm gonna reiterate something just to make sure that I captured it. Before I was able to get to the point where I'm living in New York City, I had to do a lot of groundwork at home. I had to do a lot of things with what I had. I wasn't able to just drop my job and leave DC to come here to study musical theater. It was not that simple, but I did work very hard to book as much work as possible and to make a strategy to make the next phase of my dreams happen. So you might be wondering what's next and what I plan on doing. So I'm very happy to announce that I'm going to be doing a series for you guys, and it's going to be called Training for Broadway. And I'm going to basically just share with you what I'm doing to make my Broadway dream a reality. AMDA was a big part of that, and graduating from the conservatory was a huge part of that. And so I'm super proud of myself for getting through that experience and for all that I've learned and gained from that. However, from now, I'm going to continue to take voice lessons. I'm going to be taking dance classes. I'm going to be working on things on my own, of course, and I'm going to be documenting that journey for you guys. And whenever I have a performance opportunity, I will, of course, be sharing that. I sang in a cabaret on October 4th at the West End Lounge, and that cabaret was called Bound for Broadway. And I'm also doing another cabaret on October 21st, which is called Darkness and Light. I'm participating in a play as juror number 12 in a play called 12 Angry Women, and rehearsals start for that pretty soon. So I'm going to be sharing all of these different things with you guys to just let you in on my journey to Broadway. And if you're an actor or a performer like myself, you might be interested in that content specifically. So I want to make sure that I can share all of that with you guys. So that's how I started my acting career, guys. It hasn't just all been easy, and I haven't been doing this a long time. Like I said, I started, my very first audition was March 2015, and this is October 2018. So with that, you can tell that I honestly haven't been doing it that long, but I know that I have a long, fulfilling career ahead. I just feel it. All right, guys, if you have any questions for me about my acting career or about anything, really, please just leave it in the comment section below. And if you don't follow me over on Instagram, let's change that. Go ahead and follow me at KaiHugs. Please like this video if you enjoyed this content, and please subscribe if you're new around here so you don't miss any video that I upload. I love you guys so much, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.